Good evening and welcome to the first of two meetings tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Sanitation meeting for Tuesday, January the 21st, 2020. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Dave Harrison.
Jim Kaufman, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, January 6th, 2020. Floor is open for any questions, comments, or corrections.
I have none, thank you.
I have none.
No questions, comments, or corrections. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make said motion.
Nice second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This evening, Board, we have 2 pages of wastewater claims in the amount of $616,598.56. Before we open the floor for any questions, I'll defer to the clerk to explain the pilot and ROI payment. Jim?
So on December 31st, Dan McMillan paid half of the ROI from the sewer to the general fund, and then he made the pilot payment as well. That was not on January's docket. I was not aware of it. I knew he had made it, but I didn't know it actually went through. So that's why it's on this docket now. It was already transferred. This is just putting it on there. So the ROI was $353,446, which is half of the payment that it should have been. And then the pilot payment was $142,196. So that was already transferred into December, and then that leaves us with the current balance before the other claims on today's docket of roughly $598,000. So, so not comfortable making the rest of the ROI payment right now. They'll just leave the balance too low in my opinion. So that's why that's on there. So
Thank you. Floor is open for any other questions or comments concerning the claims.
I have none, thank you.
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the wastewater claims dated January 21st, 2020 in the amount of $616,598.56.
Make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you, Board. We have, under unfinished business, we have one order of business carried over from the previous meeting, and that is a claim for sewer loss with Nathan Tupper, 3806 South Emerson. Nathan's here. Nathan, come on up to the podium and talk to the board about your loss.
Hello, Board. Thanks for having me here. And we've been through, I'm sure everyone's familiar with the major backup of the sewers on Emerson. It was October 7th. And they were out jetting, trying to get it cleared up. They had ran into an excessive amount of paper towels. Well, they got to a certain point, and I didn't know this until we got home. My wife got home and smelled a bad odor, and she went down to my basement and called me right away. There was black water 3 inches deep in our basement because it had been pushed back from the jetter getting pushing it out. We immediately got Roto-Rooter out. They did remediation, cut drywall, treated the wood. Their estimated bill was at about $15,000, and we had estimate for repair of the damages at $13,000. We also had miscellaneous stuff, smaller amounts, which I have explained in an updated tort that I typed up. Just last week, we ran into another issue that it backed up again, and we were actually getting closer to, we actually had a point where we had some carpet put down, and so we came home to more water coming back in. They tried to get it cleared out. They couldn't get it cleared out. They had to go out farther, and they dug up closer to the road to put in another clean out to get farther in because they couldn't get their snakes that far. As they started pulling back, they were pulling paper towels out. They got to, I mean, at this point, since last Friday, we've pretty much been in a hotel or staying with somebody else because we can't shower or launder or anything. They could not get it with the snake, and so they had to wait. They're actually going to do it tomorrow afternoon, that they had to wait for the jetter to actually come out and get this cleared out. I have copies of the estimates and most of my receipts and here, so I'm asking the city to help me with this dilemma. So this is my first time doing this. I'm not definitely, I'm not a lawyer.
You know, Nathan, if any of your neighbors are having problems?
They are not. I checked with, I know the one house that would have probably had problems is still on a septic, and it's up for, someone's buying it now, but the Methodist property, the BG barn down at the lower part. I think the pony, what are they called? Ponies of America had an issue. The other people I checked with were on the intersection higher up, and they didn't seem to have issues there. It was while they were jetting right there that it was actually forced back through mine.
Do you think that putting in the clean out will help you?
The one that they installed, yes, because they actually put I mean, that's the only way they're gonna get it cleared, because they couldn't reach that far. With they went 150 feet with their snake, and they couldn't go any farther, and that's at that point where they dug down to do that, so they could get all the rest of the way out. There's approximately 270 feet from my house to the main on Emerson.
Are you gonna put in,
I did.
what do you call that?
Backflow preventer,
Check valve?
check valve, yes, I did put that in,
Okay.
so that this wouldn't happen again. It would be, silly not to do that at this point when we're there anyway doing that. Obviously, this is an unforeseen thing, but we've been through a lot of stress in our family with, my daughter's still not living back at home. She's been living with a friend, back and forth getting clothes, because her room was in the basement.
Board members, do you have questions?
I do have a question. So all this started when we went to use the jetter and it caused more, it pushed it to your house?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened? Okay.
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
you have any insurance coverage at all?
That was the one thing my insurance agent informed me that I wasn't insured for, which I had been with them for 7 years. I was unaware of that. I mean, I guess I didn't think to ask, am I covered for sewer backup? I did find out also that if I was covered for it, it wouldn't even have covered the cleanup, what they pay.
You mean the amount?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There's-
So it was, and I understand, that, I don't know, it's an ignorant oversight on my part to not have coverage for sewer, but I never asked, and they never asked me, never told me. So I've asked a few friends, and they're like, I didn't know, I didn't have it either, and they've got it, they're getting it now too, so.
Yeah, it's something, especially if you have a basement, every insurance agent should ask. And
I have
now
lear-
they even
I have learned that.
there's a little coverage, you can't get a lot, but now, I've been doing this for 32 years, and now they actually offer coverage from the house out to the street. It's minimal. I mean, it wouldn't cover probably what you're being charged to get fixed, but it's still helpful.
Yes, sir.
And, I don't know if who you with, State Farm?
State Farm.
I don't know if they offer it or not, but I know a lot of companies are starting to offer that, but, you never think it's gonna happen to you till it happens.
Well, and that's one thing I didn't even, it's something that I never even
Yeah,
thought of.
and most
I mean,
people
I'm like, I have insurance on my home for plumbing and floods and all that, and there's one thing, and it's this.
Yeah.
That,
But have flood insurance, if you have flood insurance, I don't know as that would cover that.
No.
Flood only covers surface water, so,
Right, I understand that, but it would have, any flooding from plumbing
yes.
would have
yeah,
been covered,
Yeah,
but not sewer. So it was an area that I wasn't even aware of, or I would have had, obviously, something like that in place.
right.
I got a question for you.
Yes,
We talked before you came up here. So the board knows the estimate that's in your packet, that's only about half of it. There's also a roto-rooter?
yeah, the original tort that I turned in to Angie downstairs had some pictures of the damages and the black water, and had which I have a copy of which I have an adjusted tort claim to give to you that kind of breaks it down of,
So there's a roto-rooter bill for about $15,000,
right, yes, sir.
$13,000 from Hayes and Sons, and then what else?
There's 4,300 from Mr. Plummer for the extra that they're doing now to get that cleared out, and then there's about 2,900 in miscellaneous. We had $1,200 worth of furniture that was contaminated. We had some laundry some things that had to go to the cleaners, and there's some personal items that we'll never recover that were just lost and thrown away. That's
So you have an adjusted tort claim notice you want me to look at?
yes, I have it right with me if you'd like it. I can turn it up into the board.
Any other comments or questions from board members?
Okay, just so I'm clear, the city, there was a blockage, and we went with the jetter to clear it, and we pushed everything into his,
That's correct, ma'am.
okay,
Brad, is that your
your take?
take on this? All right. Dave, anything? No. Well, I think, Nathan, what I would like to recommend to the board is that you and Craig sit down and work this out, and then Craig will come back to the board for a recommendation to us.
Okay. All right. I understand that. I'm just financially, we're strapped and burdened now.
I think that would be fair for all parties, especially the board. I'm not prepared tonight to
I understand.
resolve this matter.
I understand.
All right?
All right. Would you like me to approach?
Please.
Please.
Motion to the board to allow Nathan and our attorney to get together and resolve this matter and report back to the board.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Please.
That concludes unfinished business. We have no new business tonight. Comments from board members?
I have none.
I have none, thank you.
If not, I'll ask for a motion.
The whole egg.
Good evening and welcome to the second meeting tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Tuesday, January the 21st, 2020. At this time, I will ask our board members to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Dave Harrison.
Jim Kaufman, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, January the 6th, 2020. Floor is open for any questions, comments, or corrections.
I have none.
I have none.
No questions, comments, or corrections. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I will make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This evening, Board, we have 13 pages of corporate claims in the amount of $332,450.11. Floor is open for any questions, comments, or corrections.
I have none, thank
I have
you.
none.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the corporate claims dated January the 21st, 2020, in the amount of $332,450.11.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you, Board. We have no unfinished business to carry over from the previous meeting. Tonight, we have several items under new business. The first item is a pay step increase for the Beech Grove Fire Department. Chief?
Mayor and Board, I come before you today to ask for approval of the pay increase of Aaron Coffey to the position of second-year civilian paramedic. If approved, Aaron's pay will increase to $2,263.73 per pay period. This will take effect January 25th, 2020. The increase for position pay is in our 2020 budget.
Questions or comments from board members?
I have none.
I have none.
None, I'll ask for a motion to approve the pay increase for Aaron Coffey.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Stay up there, Chief.
Aaron's up here this evening. He wanted to say a couple words to you this evening, if possible.
I'd like to thank all of you for allowing me to continue to serve this community. So, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Chief, sick day buyback for Chief Goins.
Mayor and Board, with the retirement of Battalion Chief Michael Goins, effective January 24th, 2020, I would like to ask for approval of a sick time buyback pay per the city manual. Michael has worked for the city of Beech Grove for 26 years and has a balance of 173 sick days. Michael will receive a payment of 62% of his unused sick days for a total of $27,707.40. This amount was placed in our 2020 budget.
Floor is open for any questions.
I have none.
Chief, is it, it was plugged into your 2020 budget, wasn't it?
Yes, that is correct, and I believe Michael had the opportunity to speak to the clerk treasurer already.
All right. No questions or comments. Ask for a motion to approve the chief's request to pay sick day buyback to Mike Goins.
I'll make said motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. While you're up there, you want to update us on the new guy?
Thank you. In December, I asked for approval for Jason Board to come on the job on January 25th, starting that payroll period. Jason ran through a couple delays in perf, so we ended up, I'm going to start his first pay period on February 22nd, and he will come in that following week for orientation, and we will keep him for about 3 weeks before we send him off to the academy. He will be attending Wayne Township's Fire Academy, which will be an extensive program, and we look forward to getting him on the job.
Very good.
All right, well done.
Thank you.
Next order of business is Community Crossings Grant Application. Brad, can you comment on that for us? Update us?
Good evening, Board. So we applied about a week ago, maybe 10 days, for another Community Crossings grant. We have been successful in our last 4 attempts. This will be our 5th one, dating back to 2016. So we have reached out to NDOT and asked for $350,500. We will obviously have to match that with a local amount, and that is for a paving project that includes, or would include, if we're successful in the funding, Rodney Court, Dangerfield Drive, Roderick Court, Roderick and Rodney, 2 different courts, Buffalo Street from 6th to 7th, Fletcher Lane from 6th to 9th, 8th Avenue from Byland to Fletcher, and Grovewood Drive from Edwards to Jerry. And we have enough local funding also to pay for the engineering and the inspection of this project. So hopefully we anticipate some good results, and we will find out, I think, would they say March, possibly as late as early April. Hopefully in March, we'll get a notification if we've been approved.
Hey, up there, I really want to tip my hat to Brad on this. He applies for all of these grants. He works with the clerk treasurer, and Jim, I thank Jim for this. Jim's new, but he'll see real quick how this works, and this is another good step for the city. So I'm looking forward to it, and the board will hear the professional services agreement at the next meeting for paving, so that's coming. While you're up there, Brad, I hate to put you on your spot, but can you talk about the funding request we have for Victory Drive and for Hannah and Arlington?
Yeah, so we did apply, it was about a month ago, it was right before Thanksgiving, for a roundabout project at Victory and Emerson. I think that's gonna be a couple months as well before we find out if that's successful. We've had a lot of back and forth between us and the MPO and NDOT with questions. I think the city of Indianapolis is, I'm not sure they're fully supportive, as the mayor and I have discussed. But this intersection every year continues to move up the list of most dangerous intersections in Marion County. And I think it's currently, the mayor probably remembers more than myself, in the teens or something out of the top 50. So it's up there. So we know at some point they're gonna have to come up with a solution. We felt like this was a valid solution. We provided a lot of data on the application that shows a roundabout would be much safer, and it works with the space provided in that area with the right-of-way available. So we'll see. We'll see how they feel, whether they award it or not. And then we have a roundabout that's going to start construction in Memorial Day timeframe, Memorial Day to Labor Day, and that's the Churchman-Arlington. And then the city of Indianapolis has gone in with us. They're applying for it, but we're going to partner with them on one at Hannah and Arlington. So could potentially have two roundabouts out that way. The Hannah-Arlington is another very dangerous intersection that we get a lot of complaints about. People that work at those businesses claim that they're constantly hearing crashes and seeing, the results of people making poor decisions and pulling out into oncoming traffic. You have the hill there just south of that makes visibility and speed is a question of how fast people are coming over that hill. So we'll see if the city of Indianapolis is successful. If they are, then I believe we're going to partner with them on the local match portion. So it would be a good improvement for that intersection as well if it's successful.
All right. The community crossing grant application is not for approval, it's just for information, public information. So we'll move to the next item of business, and that is the Franciscan Trail Bridge Agreements. And there's 4 of them. So can you go through that process, Brad?
Mm-hmm. So this is new from NDOT. I guess NDOT has decided now that any project that includes a bridge, they want to separate that bridge out of the project so that they can track these bridges now with every project with NDOT gets what's called a DES number. And it's the thing, obviously it's a designation number. And now they're going to assign bridges their own DES number and sort of make them an individual project within a project. So myself, with the help of Crossroads, had to break out the 4 bridges of the Greenway Trail. There are 4 included, and so we did so, and we assigned a dollar amount to those bridges. Now, this will not increase the overall cost of the Greenway in any way. It doesn't affect the Greenway at all. It's more of a bookkeeping exercise on NDOT's part to be able, like I said, to track these bridges down the road for maintenance and for probably lifespan and things like that. So that's what we've done. So they wanted to issue 4 individual contracts for these bridges, even though, like I said, they're still under the umbrella of the overall Greenway. One bridge is $172,800. The other bridge is 197,600, 173,600, and 171,200 for a total cost of $715,000, $200 that's contained in that greenway that's dedicated to the four bridges. And so that's what these will do, the signed contracts that we did.
Any questions from board members?
I have none.
All of this, our match is budgeted for this year, and we have already already been approved for the 80% match from NDOT. So this is all set. We're just waiting for July the 1st to come, and then this project will be bid out. So we're looking forward to it. And what I think we should do is we should individually approve these. And if you look at the sheet, you see the EDS number on the first one is, the last three digits is 208. See it, Dave?
Yeah.
So so right now, I'll ask for a motion to approve the LPA agreement with NDOT concerning number 208.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This time, I'll ask for a motion to approve the LPA agreement with NDOT for project number 209.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This time, I'll ask for a motion to approve the LPA agreement with NDOT concerning project 210.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. And the last one, ask for a motion to approve the LPA agreement with NDOT for project 211.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. You have those. I didn't write the Dunn's number down because I didn't know what it was.
That's fine. I'll put it on there.
Quick question, so.
Sure.
This is just a contract between NDOT and the city, not necessarily the construction company, whoever does the work?
Yeah, it's
This
just
is
between
just- okay.
NDOT and the city, yeah.
And that's it, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no company.
We are, for the board's information, we are the LPA. We're the local planning agency. All right, Brad, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is a surplus list of outdated items, and I'll read a letter that I wrote. At this time, I would like to declare the following items as surplus equipment. These items will either be scrapped or destroyed for security reasons. One is a Dell computer monitor. Second one is another Dell computer monitor. Third one is one LaserJet printer. 4 is one format paper folder. 1 is one Syntron paper jogger, which I have no clue what it is, and an old two-door storage cabinet. And the asterisk items are the items that will be destroyed. Comments from board members?
No.
Now I'll ask for a motion to approve the surplus equipment listed below.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Board, we had a leak last week and a pipe break, which caused a considerable amount of damage to the compliance office and then the hallway outside of the kitchen. And with that, we had a substantial loss, especially in the compliance office. So we have received information from Electronic Restoration Services of what has been destroyed and what is salvageable. And all of the items on your paper that have an asterisk, those are the items that have been destroyed, and we are awaiting approval to be destroyed. So what I'd like for the clerk to do is all the asterisk items I would like to read, have him read into the record that will be destroyed.
First one is a Microsoft tablet. Total loss with case, keyboard, and stylus. The next one is unknown brand, a mouse. Total loss. Next is a Logitech keyboard and mouse, wireless mouse. That was a total loss as well. Next is a Netgear cellular router. Total loss. Next is a Dell keyboard computer. Computer keyboard. Next is a Dell mouse. Next is an HP CPU. Next is Acer monitor, LCD monitor, 20-inch. Next is a Cisco telephone. An HP all-in-one printer. A Dell monitor, LCD monitor, 19-inch. A Casio calculator. Boss Stitch pencil sharpener. A Microsoft tablet dock. An APC power strip. And then a Logitech wireless keyboard.
All of these items have, according to this company, were damaged beyond repair and will be destroyed. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion to surplus these items.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Next up is 2020 street sweeping agreement with EnviroSweep. I'll call Brad back up to the podium for explanation. Brad?
Good evening again, Board. So this year, I had some discussions with the owner of EnviroSweep, and we have been under contract with them basically since 2015. They're the first company that we entered into an agreement with sweeping. We've re-upped that a couple of times. We have not seen a price increase since 2015. So this year, there is going to be a price increase that's proposed to the board. It's an 18.7% increase, and he told me that that's basically due to the cost to dump the street sweepings. I can validate a lot of that because I know our cost went up this year as well for the landfill and for Covanta. And I think back in the late fall, I presented our Covanta contract, and it's by far the largest increase we've seen ever since I've been here for sure, and probably since before that. So there's probably a lot of truth to that. He was willing, with the new increase, to extend this to a 3-year contract with no increase past this year, which I thought was a good deal for the city if we decide to enter in this year to the agreement. It's always good to lock it in for as long as you can because their costs are going up every year. So I would present that to you guys and see if you find that acceptable. And as far as the service end of things, complaints on this company are minimal to none for the most part. It seems that they do a great job. I personally have always found them to be very responsive, especially for extra events, things that we have them sweep for. They're very good about coming out and doing like Oktoberfest, 4th of July, things like that. They're great to work with. So,
The board have any questions or comments?
I think a 3-year contract at that rate sounds like a really good idea, especially if the rates are gonna continue to go up for the dumping.
Didn't we, last year, didn't this automatically renew? I can't remember how that was worded.
yeah, I think our last one, we went for 2 years with them. And then, like I said, when I looked back, I checked all the way back to 15. We hadn't had an increase the entire time. And I thought, well, I get that. After 5 years, costs go up. And he told me that they had sort of eaten the increase until it got to the point that they just couldn't anymore. And I understand that. That's how things work.
Your thoughts, Craig, anything?
No, look like a good deal to me. Nothing legally from the contract.
If there's no other questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Beech Grove and EnviroSweep,
For a 3-year
the
contract.
3-year contract.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Brett, can you do the signature?
Yes,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Final order of new business this evening is handicap parking permits. And tonight we have two. Barbara Stoltz and James Baden. Jim, everything
Yep.
appear to be in order?
Correct, yep.
These are renewals, so I ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. In your packet, there was a couple of items. One was a Indiana Department of Transportation note that they are beginning the process to replace the bridge, Arlington Avenue Bridge over I-465. So I would say within the next year to 18 months, that bridge will be taken out and a new bridge put in. So this was the first step that we received notification of the other day. So we look forward to that happening. So I just wanted to put that in your packet just for information. And then Dave, down in your neighborhood, we had a lady that called us, or got a hold of us, and she just had some drainage work done in her yard.
Yeah, I see that.
And there's only a small amount of standing water in my backyard, and I could hear and see water going into the main drain, so thank you for doing this project. It looks like they raised the dirt around the main drain, which might help with the grass seed in the spring. Right now, there's quite a bit of mud, which I suppose will be better once it dries out. I will need to replace the pavers and bricks in the spring, but it will be worth it to actually work in these areas in the yard. It looks like a many-year problem is gone, or at least made better.